Hello everybody. Number one, I'm sorry about the air. It's 103 degrees here in the south, so I cannot turn it off. Number two, I'm going to show you one of my most favorite ways to remain loose. And when I say loose, I mean paint loosely. You're not following every little line, trying to catch every little detail. I'm going to show you one of my number one, just one of my ways to remain loose during a painting, right? I'm going to flip the camera around and show you and explain what I mean by this. Because when you try to remain loose, you want the free flowing brush strokes. You don't want to zoom in and try to get every little detail with a 3-hair brush, trying to capture everything. You're just trying to capture the essence of your subject, right? Just trying to get a flowy vision of it. That's what remaining loose means to me anyway. And now I'm going to show you guys one of my tricks for doing just that. Okay guys, so here we are at the table, and what you need, I'm going to make 2 of these, so I need 4 paintbrushes. If you're only making 1, you only need 2. And you need to be one of your favorite brushes that you love to paint with, preferably that you can do many techniques with, and an older brush that you don't use anymore. And I use masking tape. Any tape will work. Alright, so what we're going to do is make a super long paintbrush, which is going to put distance between you and what you're painting. And this distance is going to help you remain loose. Okay, the distance is going to create the looseness for you. And I'm going to demonstrate everything at the easier one in just a minute, as soon as we make these. So let's pull out. Well, I don't have to pull off tape, I got tape, because I recorded this yesterday and did not get to upload it, so I have to re-record. Not going to go into details about what happened. It was annoying, and here we are. Alright, so I go about 2 inches in, give or take. And I basically just start taping them together is what you're going to do. Doesn't have to be pretty, but you want it to be sturdy, okay? So pull the tape as tight as you can, because you want the handles to remain locked in place as you're painting. Okay? Just like that. I usually take an extra one and I'll tape up one end, go up onto one of the other paintbrushes, like just for extra security. And then you have an extra long paintbrush, which is going to serve us well in the next few minutes. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Scrap piece of paper just for me to show you different line qualities between the regular normal paintbrush and the one that we have taped. Okay, I'm going to show you the difference between the tight line and the loose line. And this is just something I draw with. I'm going to sketch out the coffee cup. We're going to paint a loose, very quick loose coffee cup. This is one I did yesterday. The 2 long paintbrushes I said I recorded, and then I lost it. That's the one I did for yesterday. We're going to do another one. Okay, so oh, and then over here, can I show you guys? Hold on, let me spin the camera. Over here, we have a black ink that's in the corner, a titanium white, a Payne's gray, and I have a can of white house paint that I like to use. It's transparent. It's not as opaque as the titanium white, so I like the way it still shows what's underneath if you use it. If you don't use a lot of it, it remains transparent. It's a good mixing white. So that's what we're going to use, just blacks and whites. Okay, and jar of water. This is just your normal brush. I'm going to show you how I used to paint before I started using the long brushes to help with my looseness. Okay, I'll show you the difference. So I need to switch sides, guys. Sorry. Normally, we would be focused in on one area of our painting. I'm going to show you that on here. One area of our painting, and our lines, because we're so focused, will be straight and tight, right? That's how mine will look. Minus this one. These 2. Straight and uniform. So, that's when the long brushes come in. Alright. Let me get this in. And I have an end that I use and an end that I don't use. Because remember, you want an old brush and a good brush. So let me wet my good brush. And I'm going to be back here at a picture. I'm going to be standing back away from where I'm trying to paint. This distance is going to create the looseness for me. It's going to help me. It's also another very good reason for painting with some distance, a good bit of distance between you and your piece, and I'll explain that in just a moment too. And I hold it down here near this end. This is the end with the ink on it. And I'm way back here. I don't know if you can tell with my voice changing in the mic, but I'm way far back. And I'm drawing my lines. And they are loose, not uniform and straight at all. They have a curvy waviness to them, which I like. I prefer this over that. Now it's totally up to you. If you want straight and uniform, you want to keep your normal brushes. Also, when you have your day brush, regular brush, and you're all up on your painting, you are really focused on one area. Like you're zooming in on that one area right here where you're painting. It's hard for you to see the whole picture. I say we want to work on the shadow. Go down here. Now we'll be working in right here, and it's really hard for me. And pay attention next time you're painting. When you're like this, all up on it, it's really hard for you to focus on the entire piece. You're pretty much paying attention to just what you're painting, you know, what you're zoomed in on, locked in on. But with a little distance between you and your art, get my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing, because I'm way back here now. With a little distance between you and your piece, it is easier for you to focus on what you want to focus on, but also maybe move around. You can paint all over your piece and actually focus on other areas and not just that one spot. So that's another good reason that I love this technique. It allows me to keep moving around. Right? Okay, so now we're going to do one from scratch. We're going to do a coffee cup. Okay. Pull this down. And this isn't a video about painting coffee cups, so I'm going to be doing this quickly. I like to draw mine in with something permanent first, just so I know where all my marks are going. So we're going to say right. I like to step back. I've got to where I step back now. Using distance to my advantage to remain loose, that even when I'm drawing, I step back. I'm stepping back. Okay, I hope I don't hit the camera. Okay, so say I don't want it on in the middle. I don't like my stuff in the element. So I'm going to go over here, back, and down at the bottom, sides, keep the handle with the coffee cup, and we will have the table, and everything's that, there's our table. Okay? And that's the coffee cup. Our coffee is right in here. Alright? And sometimes the color will peek through, which is really cute. You like that kind of thing. So I'm going to take my other long brush right here, and I'm going to draw this in using distance to help me out. See how wavy and wobbly my lines are? I love that. Love it, love it. Get my hand over me. Okay. Alright, and this is our table. Drying this one, that's okay. Alright. And some shadow. Okay, this should be pretty dry. palette gun out pretty quick. But here's a little bonus tip. While I was transitioning from using tiny, regular, normal size brushes, not tape, trying to use bigger ones, I took a tiny brush and taped it to an old brush and made a super long tiny brush. So I can still get the details I wanted, but kind of remain loose with it until I transitioned to just using bigger brushes at all times. I don't really need the tiny one now, but we'll use it. I'll use it just so I can show you. You can also do that. You don't have to actually forego trying to get all your details. You can always just tape, make a long, smaller brush. So that tip is super tiny. Okay, I'm gonna go in and work on the handle with this. Stitching in one area. I think this is one of the main these. But I'm stitching in one area for an hour. I'm gonna step back, pop it in, get out. That's what Bob Glass likes to say. Bob Burridge, I think is his name. Get in and get out. Don't linger. When you linger, that's when you start overworking. Alright, here we go. I'm done. I'm leaving it alone. Thank you guys so much for clicking on this video, and you have a great and wonderful day.